All right, moving right along. Longtime beloved Buffalo Sabres broadcaster Rick Jeanneret. He's going to be retiring after this season. So the team raised a banner for him the other night to the rafters. Awesome scene, man. I mean, if you've been listening to hockey, watching hockey for the last 50 years, you know this guy's voice. Some epic calls. Mayday, Mayday against my Bruins back in '93. It was absolutely classic. He joined the Sabres biz in their second season. He's been part of their radio or TV crew for the last 51 years. The team wore RJ patches. They brought him out after the game for pitches. He was named the game's first star, and you could tell he was genuinely moved. It looked like he got a little teared up. It seemed like the whole crowd was teared up. Actually, Merles, we should probably go to you as somewhat of a local guy. You grew up listening to him.
Yeah, my best friend's Tim Conley, so he played there 10 or 12 years. He actually was at the game. He went out there. They had a big ceremony for him, and he went out to dinner with him and everything. So, yeah, I grew up watching him. What was it, 05, 06, 07 year? The Buffalo had those big playoff runs, and when he would make those goal calls, like I remember the Roy one he would Roy. It was just, it was amazing. Just made the game fun to watch. I used to love watching Sabres games just because of him.
And La Fontaine, that's probably one of the more famous ones too.
Yep, yeah, he's a legend. Jim Lorenz was his color guy for a long, long time. His son's a friend of mine.
Why don't we play a couple of them?
Solapsky coming up with it, lost it! He's right on the floor! Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee! Alexander the greatest! That's 50! And over the line, Lafontaine fakes his shot, took his shot, score! Well, 'tis the season! LaFontaine! Putting it up to LaFontaine, he gets tripped up, gets it to May, and over the line, he's May going in on goal, he shoots, he scores! Mayday! 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 Brad May wins it in overtime!
So those are some of his most notable ones. And, I grew up in Niagara as well, so I actually went to more Buffalo Sabres game than Toronto game. And I think it was awesome. And I know that we've been going back and forth with the fan base. Well, I guess I have. At the fact that the team had been playing so much better and it seems like the fans are so much more engaged. So to have a send-off for him the way that it happened, and I believe like they've been on a crazy run up until that point, and then they beat a pretty good Nashville team in a very, very good back-and-forth, high-scoring game. So things are looking up for the organization, and it was just a great night and a great feel around town all around. And also Rob Ray had a great speech as well. And, basically said, you're one of us. So he RJ seemed just so touched by it. After the game, what Tuck and, was it Tage Thompson? A couple of the guys grabbed him and brought him out on the ice. And it was a very, like on top of the ceremony before the game, to have the send-off after the game as well, after that emotional win in a packed barn. Everything that he deserved and more.
Yeah, I got a picture with all the boys. Wait, I'm sorry, did you want to chime in? I didn't know if I cut you off there.
This guy was the best. The goal calls, where mama hides the cookies, all the different sayings he had. And this game was the first sellout the Sabres had since February 2020, before the pandemic, against the Leafs. And they sold this game all because of him. And 51 years, dude, radio or TV, part of this team. And he was with the Buffalo Bison even before that. So in an age now, especially with the prices, and even before, it's been hard to go to an NHL game, right? If you're a fan and you have kids and family, it's a lot. Tickets, parking, you got to get, food, all this merch, all these different things. So a lot of times, like an announcer like this, he's more a part of the fans' lives than a lot of the players. And you root for this team, and these players come in and they come out and they're there for a little bit or a long bit, and then they're gone. But forever, RJ was there. And I think his voice and the way that he brought you into the game, and he made the game exciting for you, and also had, a little bit of humor, for what I'm told, was always a pretty funny guy. One of the guys asked him, or maybe it was a reporter, asking him about his longevity. How do you do it for this long? And he said, a few beers here and there never hurt. He said, I don't do that very much nowadays, but for a long time it was a steady part of my diet. So I think all these fans that got to listen to this guy for so long, and a lot of great runs. And I mean, you go back to the Odd and the Mayday beating the Bruins, walking Ray Bourque, and then the run they had to to lose to Carolina in the Eastern Conference Final, I think 2005. It's a guy that these people will never forget, a lot more so than almost any Sabres player. And it's just a hell of a run by what I've been told is a classy individual. I got to meet him a couple times, just briefly, shake his hand in the locker room. But happy for him, and what a run it was. And I mean, when you have a guy like that as your announcer for that long, that's pretty sweet. I mean, Bruins fans got to deal with Jack Edwards, and these guys get RJ for 51 years. So it can be amazing, and it can be tough in terms of your play-by-play guy, and they had the best.
Yeah, to go that long and not be hated by anybody, that's a strong feat, right? And now, do you think that when Jack Edwards goes that long, you don't think he's going to have that type of send-off?
He might. I think actually a portion of the fan base really likes him, RA. I don't know. Do you?
I don't mind Jack at all. I like him. I think he's entertaining. I think
that's because you guys are buddy up in press row when you go to the games.
Nah, he's in the booth. I don't even see him. I don't know if he even knows who I am. But no, he's over the top. But listen, I listen to other games, other broadcasts. They're all homers to certain degrees. I don't think Jack's much worse. He's a little over the top, but he's no worse than a lot of these other announcers. They're home team announcers. They're supposed to be homers. That's what they do. So
Jack does make it fun.
He makes it fun.
I think he makes it very fun. He says a lot of dumb shit, but you're like, this is hilarious.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Wouldn't you rather have them talk about you than not? I mean, if they're not talking about you, then they might not be listening to you. And what you just mentioned, like,
very true.
Having a few pops. He kind of, now that you say it, kind of reminds me of Harry Carey a little bit. You know, long-time Cardinals, then Cubs announcer. And then, Rick Jeanneret, well-beloved, having a few beers. It sounds like he was a little bit like Harry Carey there as well.
I saw a Harry Carey thing. I don't know if it was true. It was on social media somewhere. He was like a legendary drinker. And so one night, like him and Frank Sinatra were doing a drink off, and finally at like 6 a.m., Harry Carey goes, "Holy shit, Frank, you win. I'm going to bed." Like, I guess nobody could beat him. So I guess there is some Harry Carey lookalikes with RJ.
And RJ, just one of those voices too. Like, even if the game's terrible, like, just you still want to listen. It's just like so charming,
so distinctive as well.
And he had to polish a lot of turds over the last 10 years.